it into Hamilton, Georgia for today's class, and we have about 25 or 30 going to be here for a little chainsaw training and workshop. And really nice location, backside of a park. Nice building here. We made it in. Had a little issue. Pulled in to get fuel down in Pine Mountain near Callaway Gardens, and the parking lot was pretty busy. I started to pull out. My plan wasn't too good. Pulled over and had a little drainage ditch there, and a little more dip than I thought. Ended up we had to get about $350 lighter. They had to get a tow truck out. But he didn't have to hook up the truck. He knew how to raise the airbags. I guess I got to figure that out. But anyhow, he went under, pumped it up, and we pulled out. So made it in here. Got the fuel, made it in. Looking forward to today. I take the damage off of it, now I roll it back in. I'm applying pressure back. Last couple strokes, I go against the one in front.
Let's say I've got one that's split, like went over about 8 inches. If I go past that split and cut it, it's going to drop down, because this is going to close back up. If I try to go on the hinge side here, this like this is trying to straight up, this pushes back. It'll grab your chain just about every time. But if I go over the amount of hinge that I have there and cut down, then basically I don't have as big a chance of getting stuck. Also, I find too, if I come in on the end like that, sometimes the weight of the log will go down on it, and then I'm stuck. So what I try to do is go over the thickness of the hinge or the split. In this case, if it was split way out, I'd go back over here and do it. But I'm going to try to get it to go here. Because you know, with a root ball tree, it tries to go back to its original. And so I'm going to cut down. If I come in here and get stuck, how long does it take me to get out? I don't know. But I know that if I got a 20-inch tree, how long should it take me to cut through it? Huh? Probably 20, 25 seconds, huh? Try here. Now watch. I'm gonna go against the spikes on this saw. I want you to see what happens. Slows down, doesn't it? Now, if I pull back. Chain, you can't rock and roll. If I pull back, the chain comes out. And you kind of see here, watch if I pull back, it starts to pull out of the bar. And so it's important to think about just slight back pressure. A little bit of feed, but slight back pressure. And now I can see that hinge is, I got a little hand holder there. I gotta disconnect that. But that's my hinge. Thicker on that side than on this side. A lot of people say that too, say, you know, if I wanted to move that tree over to that first little clearing, how much more would I hold over here to do it? I hear that technique all the time. But a guy with Mead Papers fiber specialist was showing us this. A hinge, no matter where it is, it breaks from the back to the front, right? So I've got an inch hinge, breaks from the back to the front, just as that one did. If I got a 4-inch hinge, breaks from the back to the front. What if I had an inch over there, 3/8 over here that starts to fall? Where's it break from first? Thick side or thin side? Thick side. Thick side? Yeah. Because the fiber's running up the tree. So it starts to break from the back side still. This side's thicker than that side, but it still broke from the back, didn't it? Peeled more, but it still broke from the back. So if you start to look at that, that's an important concept, because what they're showing me is a tapered hinge can't change the direction. It still goes back to the front line of the hinge. Now if I cut it off on that side, what can happen? Then it can twist. And a lot of people use that technique. But question, where was I when this tree hit the ground?
Over there. Over here.
if you're standing there trying to get it to spin over 3 feet, where are you standing?
Right there.
Right here. And what's the number one injury? Isn't it? Now, this is our horizontal plan, a little bit different. First of all, any hazards. Hazards would be something on the ground like a spring pole or something. It could be a situation where you got something overhead. And let's say I'm going to cut the first log off here. I don't know what it needs to be, but let's say what length would it be? Y'all going to use it for anything?
No.
Huh?
Burn pile.
A burn
They're
pile?
about 20 foot to throw it in the back of the dump truck.
And so, wherever I choose to cut, let's say I got a 10-foot trailer, so I'm going to cut it, what, 12 feet? No, I'm going to cut 10 feet. So right in here. And so I want to cut this without getting in the dirt. Have you ever seen log levitation? Huh? Y'all have any wedging? You don't have any wedging? Or you do?
We can have Will went, yeah. I think we will.
Pushes it apart, lift it up off the ground, and pushed it apart. They used to call it wedge buck. I call it log levitation. I just think it sounds better, you know? But let's say you cross concrete or asphalt. And now the next one, I've got a little pressure, don't I? So where's the compression on this one? Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Top, isn't it? It's going down. It's on the ground there, on the ground up there. So the next couple cuts going down, isn't it? So I cut the compression side first. This one, I'm going to use an offset cut. I'm going to cut compression and then offset and upcut till that meets. Some people call it a snap cut, mismatch cut, but basically I cut down, usually no more than halfway. I then undercut till I match those two, and now that one's done. I don't need to match it up pretty for a log. All I need to do is get it to where the machine can move it. And in this case, as soon as the machine touches it, it snaps apart. Just that simple. Now, over here, I don't know, it's probably going to be top pressure again, but I'm going to put a slide knife underneath and overcut on this one. I think I'm going to drop one more piece off. I'm going to use a horizontal offset. So there, I offset so that you can come down, but I offset side to side. Still again, machine touches it, it's done. So theoretically, if I can't jump over it, I want to use a notch and a hinge. If I can jump over it, I might use an offset. You ever been stuck?
Never.
That's the first time I've ever been stuck.
I thought I was once, but I wasn't.
Huh?
I thought I was once, but I was wrong.
You know, I see many times where people get stuck like this and they start moving the chain. And
Stretch everything.
you peel that chain away from the bar, what happens? Where does that pressure go? If I slide it and my chain pulls away from the bar, where does that pressure go?
It's stretching the chain.
It's stretching the chain, but the chain's probably not stretching on a 20-inch piece. Where's it going? Bar tip and crankshaft. You see that crankshaft in the bar tip here, and you stretch the chain, it goes like this. And if you push too hard, it can crack the crankshaft or mess up your sprocket tip. A lot of guys talk, oh, we can't use those sprocket nose bars. Why not? Well, you know, it's real sandy. That's not the issue. It's not the sand. Sand doesn't go in there and mess up anything. You know what the issue is? You get stuck, your bar tip's going out. If you don't get stuck, the bar tip will last a long time. But if you keep sticking it, it's probably going to go out. So let's see here now. What do we have? I've worked from the butt end. That's one thing guys shared with me. He said, you want one person on a chainsaw on the tree till it's stabilized. You don't want 2 or 3 people working on it, because if somebody cuts here and somebody's out here, you can end up with something grabbing and pinching them, right? Second thing is work from the butt end whenever possible. And they always do that with logging, because you know you work this way, cut in the lengths you need, take the top off. But in storm damage, everybody says, well, I want to get the top clear. That's where the road is. We got to clear the road. You know what I found is, timing, folks? I can work this way. I don't necessarily go all the way back there. I go to where the road starts and then work that way. And now I take the limbs off. I can pull them back out easier than I can go the other side and cut and have to move. Cut and move, cut and move. And you know who usually moves? Somebody standing out here, and when I cut something wrong, they get hit. Or either they pull something that I'm standing on, or something I'm trying to cut and pinch the saw. So I work from the butt end out. And the third thing is, don't pass any limbs. Because when you pass limbs, that's when it causes it to twist or mess up something. So you always take the limbs off as you go. And my saw's not unstuck yet, is it? Now I can't put a wedge in over here unless I've got it bypassed, and I think I missed about that much having it bypassed. So I've got a little hinge in between there. But if I drive on that side, it's going to close tighter on this side. So what do I got to do?
Why don't you come back here with logs right away?
So if I can maybe even roll that log.
Yeah.
Can you roll that log? Huh? Need more butt. It's actually cut, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll put it low.
Looks like it'll roll this way.
Look, that one's coming apart. Oh my, y'all doing good.
That's what I'm gonna tell y'all next time I get home.
What was the word, Mike? What was the word, Mike? Huh?
Keyword of today.
The key word of today? What was it? Huh?
Hey, you got it now.
So, if I stretch that down, I don't want to do that. But I've got it offset enough. I cut just a little more there till it's bypassed. I may even have it bypassed. But that's the thing. If I work this direction, everything's loose, isn't it? Because what creates pressure in the top? The weight of the trunk. So if I take it off this way, I have a lot less chances of getting stuck. I'm just going to kind of work up through this. I'm going to holler out what I see to be compression and tension and just work up these limbs. perfect spot to put my feet each time. I just have to have a perfect spot to balance myself and understand those reactive forces. After that, we can pull it however you want to. Just that simple.
Using water.
See, if I stay on the same plane, what you'll find is that you fill the sawdust back in. And what that does, it holds the tree up on that sawdust. But you need a sharp chain to stay level. My chain's pretty sharp, but I got over in the dirt over there. I could feel it go down some. But you can actually cut below ground level with that technique. Works pretty slick. But when you just walk around it straight, keep everything level when you start. See, I started downhill, so I ended up going downhill. And it'll come back uphill when I get to this side. But it was already starting to get dull over there. But that's kind of it. You did good with the wedge. You did good. Get pine tar in your hands?
A little bit.
Y'all know what gets that off pretty easy?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
No.
Work.
No.
Work it off.
Hand lotion.
Really?
You can take just regular Jergens or some kind of hand lotion.
How long you work?
And rub it on and it comes right off. Take it off your clothes too. Take it off your clothes.
The 4 piles and let them plant them out here in 4 teams a little bit. Up some trees in the piles, making up some storm situations. I think we got some pretty good ones in this case. We got a couple hardwood trees coming across, got pines side by side, a little bit of a hillside, spring poles in there, also some things under a little bit of pressure there also.